Earlier this year, the South African Revenue Service says it would be increasing its focus on wealthy individuals with offshore holdings. SARS has started contacting taxpayers with financial accounts abroad to request information. The aim is to see how much has been disclosed in prior tax returns and to assess any underpayments. Let's unpack this further with the Sovereign Trust's Chairperson, Tim Mertens. Tim, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. So, as we said, there are many high net worth South Africans have offshore accounts, partially as a means of sheltering their funds from progressive tax increases, which have, been aimed directly at this group. But these funds will now be coming under increasing scrutiny from SARS. How and why will they be investigating offshore accounts with so much fervour?
Well, yes, good afternoon to you and your listeners. This is a real game changer when it comes to the collection of tax, not only in South Africa, but really around the world, because it all really started with the Organization for Economic Development and Cooperation, the OECD. It was their initiative essentially to try and create tax harmonization across a whole lot of different countries. And usually in the past, when information was requested by one tax authority or another, it was on request. It wasn't automatic. But the G20 in 2014 or so decided to accelerate that process and then introduce the system of common reporting standards known as CRS, which we live with today, where financial information is now automatically shared between tax authorities. So it's not on request anymore. It's a process which is just going to continue, ongoing year on year. And so it's a real game changer for tax authorities around the world, including SARS, as it relates to offshore accounts.
What kinds of information is shared under common reporting standards?
Well, it's usually a financial account is quite broadly defined, but it's essentially financial information. It could be banking information, investments with management companies. It could be life insurance policies, all sorts of different information, financial information. And then not only that, there is also demographic information, which is shared, obviously the name of the taxpayer, the tax information number of that particular taxpayer, their address, their nationality, and all sorts of other information. So it's quite comprehensive, and it really means that if South Africans have assets overseas which are not disclosed, in due course, the taxman is going to come and knock on the door for sure, because they are going to receive reports from foreign tax authorities, and they're going to match that up with the reports on the individual's tax return here. And if they don't match up, then you can expect a letter from SARS.
So SARS has already started contacting South African taxpayers with offshore accounts. If they do come knocking, what's the best way to respond?
Well, I think that the most important thing is that, they always say, rather you go to the taxman than the taxman comes to you. But I think the first thing, obviously, would be to get proper tax advice in relation to your offshore affairs, and really perhaps even have an audit, if you like, a mini audit of your financial affairs overseas to make sure that actually everything has been reported correctly and thoroughly. And obviously, in the event that you do get a letter from SARS, then I think you do need to go to a tax professional and work through the questions, and then provide, obviously, truthfully and accurately the information that they're requesting. Because obviously, to do nothing or to just ignore it or to underreport will bring with it, for sure, criminal sanction, which obviously is not what you want. So I would say the start is really to get proper advice and go and get advice from your tax professional if a letter like that is received.
So SARS is also taking a no-tolerance attitude towards taxpayers who claim ignorance. You can no longer say, well, I didn't know, or I wasn't sure, or I wasn't aware that there were new regulations. What are some of the kinds of penalties that we're seeing being dished out for underreporting or underpaying these days?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. It can be double of the amount paid, the tax due, or it could even be triple amounts of the tax which is due. And of course, the very unsatisfactory situation right at the end could be that there could be criminal sanction. So there is legislation in place whereby criminal sanction could be applied against errant taxpayers or taxpayers who are uncooperative. So, there's a full array of force, if you like, by SARS and other tax authorities around the world to really, eke out information that hasn't been disclosed up until now.
Thank you very much for your time and for your insights. That was Tim Mertens, Sovereign Trust Chairperson.